Yes, a very enthusiastic Mukesh Manjunath on this fine Tuesday morning. I wonder why that is.
I have saved and all my energy and excitement from the Liverpool game, despite a delayed recording, because I'm very happy to discuss the Liverpool game and also discuss the United game. Just in general, a very happy person. And the
Because,
Arsenal game, shit.
yeah, man, like there's so many reasons for you guys to be happy, just like there's so many reasons for fans like me of Man United to be unhappy. Fuck, where do we even begin? Where do we even begin? How was your
See, in
weekend?
life,
What did you
see,
do apart
in
from football?
what did I do? Actually, I can't remember doing anything. Was I hosting? I had friends over who had gone for the Coldplay concert.
Oh, you went
I'm
for the
like,
Coldplay concert?
I did. My friends went.
Acha.
I was I was like losers not watching football that's happening a
Yeah,
million miles away. Yuck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
yeah,
then
I
you
was
had friends over who came back from the Coldplay concert, and then you made them listen to what? Subbalakshmi.
no. Then I said watch the Liverpool game. I made
Acha.
them watch football, which I think was worse for
Was
them,
it worse?
not for me.
Liverpool ended up winning 2-0. How was it worse?
For them, I'm saying I enjoyed it.
Ah, ah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't even know what I don't. This weekend has just been a blur, and United didn't make any efforts to rectify that for me. But fuck, man, like just terrible.
How does it feel to be watching United through what is apparently its worst squad in years?
No, I'll tell you what, it's not just United, right? Like, I have realized that this season football is a hate watch. You know what I mean? Like, any team I'm watching, whether I'm watching United play, now forget win, lose, draw. If I'm watching United play, it's torture. If I'm watching Liverpool play, it's torture. If I'm watching Arsenal play, it's torture. If I'm watching City play, it's torture. If I'm watching Mumbai City play in the ISL, also sometimes it can be a little unfortunate because even they're having a less than optimum season. So yeah, I don't know why we're doing this show anymore, guys. Football sucks, guys. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Wow. I just want all our listeners to know that this is how you know Corner Flag has a United bent. Because the mood of Corner Flag depends on whether United have had a good game or not.
We are
Thank
not
God
even
Akarsh isn't the one who's running it, because then that's
we
just a depressing ass podcast.
Yeah, we are not even trying to be neutral or unbiased here. Like, let's be very honest. This is, like Mukesh said, this has a very heavy United bent. But yes, let's start off with the Liverpool game then, Mukesh. Darwin Nunez scoring 2 goals in the 90 plus minutes to get a 2-0 victory over Brentford. Our friend Nathan, who joins us on the podcast a bunch of times, also had said on a previous episode that he's sure that Darwin Nunez will come good in the next few games, and it has. He messaged me after the game as well, saying, "Bro, I told you." And what I told him was, "Bro, even a broken clock is right twice a day."
I'm over. Darwin Nunez is not a broken clock. He's a donkey with no feet. That's what he was at least, and somehow he figured out some things.
That is true. Like
Uh,
we have. He is a man we have berated heavily on this show. We have बहुत गाली दिया उसको, मजाक उड़ाया. But in the end, in a crucial game, he has come good for you guys. So, are you going to take back everything that you said
no,
about?
I'll tell you what. I will take back 10% of what I said because I
It's a
do feel
very
like I'll tell you why, right? And here's where I'm scared. I do feel like it's fun and these sort of games are crucial, but like I feel like the away games that Liverpool have are all tough. So there was at least for the first goal, the one that broke the deadlock, there was a little bit of fortune. In a sense, the fortune was the beauty was how they played, like the lead up to the goal until Trent had the ball. The fortune was that before you could give Darwin Nunez 1 second to think. In the recent past, even 1/10 of a second is too much. But I think in that situation, Nunez had 1/100th of 1/10, so I guess 1,000th of a second to think or not think, which made the goal happen. So that's all luck, right? So I can't rely on that luck. I can't always be like, damn it, I just make him react. But the second goal gives me a lot of faith that he has composure and he has confidence and he probably will come good. Of course, time will tell, but I'm quite sure that this is a lucky break. I mean, maybe it's a pessimist in me, but I'm 100% sure actually that this was just a lucky game, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look well. It doesn't bode well for Liverpool in the future. In
Yeah.
the next 7 games, we have 7 away games, all tough fixtures.
Yeah. The thing also is that I feel we have to give credit to Brentford as well, because it's not like they are a bad team, or it's not like they played badly in this game. I think the only criticism that we can afford them is that they had the chances to score and they didn't take them. Mbuemo had chances. Visa, I think, had some chances as well. Norgard was playing really well. Brentford just weren't able to put those chances away. They've been spectacular at home, Brentford, and I was hoping as a Liverpool hater, or as a neutral, as the politically correct term states, that Brentford would pull something out or at least get a point against Liverpool, because they held them right until the very end. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. And when you bring a guy like Darwin on for the final minutes, it is absolute chaos theory, right? Like kuch bhi ho sakta hai, and that's essentially what happened. But even Mark Flecken in goal had some great saves to make. So they've done really well. It's just unfortunate. They'll come out from this game thinking we should have at least gotten.
Yeah, and you could see that when the first goal went in, the defenders were completely deflated and they were just broken, right? And fair enough. I thought both teams, I mean, Brentford especially, I think they rode their luck and they played exceptionally well. I think one thing I noticed, right, was that they stuck to the low block, that every time Liverpool had the ball, they were always uh, 10 men behind the ball, or 10
Yeah,
Brentford men behind the ball. And that was
yeah,
incredible discipline. I feel like more than anything else, one thing I've been impressed with teams like Nottingham Forest and Brentford is the absolute discipline they have when
yeah,
they don't have the ball.
yeah,
Which means at minimum they're eking out a draw. Right? They're pretty much taking out 1 point at least from every stadium they go to. That I think is incredible. And here, sadly, luck didn't favor them. Thomas Frank is one of those managers who everybody rates. He's the kid studying under a street light and getting good marks. You know what I'm trying to say? He's not getting 90s, but him getting 60 is also very good.
yeah. Yeah, no, fantastic. Like it was great. And while we are also talking about Darwin Nunez getting some much deserved credit, I think I also have to say, like, okay, Trent Alexander-Arnold, my personal nemesis, who I keep saying is overrated, had a decent game, clean sheet plus assist also for Darwin's first goal. I saw him run fast when he was tracking back
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
first time. So I was like, Trent has listened to the corner flag, guys. Like, that's the only explanation to this. Trent has listened to what I had to say about him, and that has fired him up. So Liverpool fans, thank you.
You mean welcome.
Yeah, I do
Yes.
mean welcome. I
You're
do
so
mean
used to
welcome.
being grateful for anything
Yeah.
that you're saying thank you.
I do mean welcome. I just didn't want to use an Anis Bazmi film title in the
Uh,
podcast. What a
isn't
save!
welcome also a title of a film?
That's what I meant. Anis Bazmi.
Oh, sorry. I meant isn't thank you also a title of a film?
Yes, it is. It is. He's
Not an
fucked up.
Anil Balbi film.
He's fucked up polite conversation.
Yeah, like similar. Please is the only one left. Oh, sorry,
Please
that you
is
can
the
use.
only one left.
Left.
It is the only one left. Yes. I was just checking
No,
if it is actually directed by Anis Bazmi, and it is.
you can't beat my obscure Bollywood knowledge. I might not know anything about Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum, but I know about Aftab Shivgasani. No, I was saying that. Did you see that interview that Arne Slot did with Rio Ferdinand, where they addressed the Trent situation? And Arne Slot says, so Rio asked him like, okay, so Trent used to go up, up ahead in the pitch and turn center, right? He used to
Yeah.
invert or whatever.
Yeah.
So why do you stop that? Then Slot pauses and says, see, Trent, I think is great when he goes on the right side up, but I think when it's center, I do think the players in the middle are much better than him. Rio Ferdinand is like, what are you saying, dude? You can't just say shit like that. He's like, yeah. So I think my instructions are very clear to him. He's like, be on the right side, go up, but also make sure we don't concede as many shots. And then Rio says, but on the United game, he was quite bad. He said, yeah, he was quite bad. After that game, I looked at him in the eyes and I wondered whether I should give him whether he needed love or he needed the treatment. And I looked at his eyes and realized he needed love. So then I told him nice things. I'm like, oh, what a manager, what a guy, just tweeting all this out in public.
This is
He's
a
in love with a
rom-com, dude.
calculated decision.
This is a rom-com. I'm picturing Mariah Carey soundtrack in the background, like just like
Exactly.
fucking. It's a Christmas movie, dude. Like looking into his eyes and realizing that he needs love. Oh my god! But I mean that is what Slot is known for, right? He is Dutch. He is very to the point. He is quite emotionless. He's quite like a robot,
He's
which I
super
think is also
honest, which I think English media or English presenters are not understanding that he's just so bloody honest, which I
yeah,
think the players are enjoying.
yeah, yeah. I think it's a good change from Klopp's heavy duty, all action all the time, really intense managerial approach as well. But speaking of Klopp, just a quick this thing. Klopp is of course heading football for the Red Bull sports division, right? So he's overseeing the football operations for all the RB clubs. I saw a video on Instagram the other day where he was answering fan questions or something, and of course, I mean, it was his Instagram with a collaboration with Red Bull, so it was like a collaborated thing. But he literally said, like, one of the questions was, has Jurgen Klopp retired from football? So he laughs and he's like, no, I am not retired. I am just not in management anymore. But now my job is to give people wings. What a tagline! The tagline has been seamlessly integrated into Instagram video. Jurgen Klopp is making bonuses on top of his monthly pay.
Yeah, who knew behind this seemingly leftist socialist manager with roots to the working class could so seamlessly fit into a proper capitalist marketing narrative?
I
Who
mean,
bloody
Jurgen Klopp
knew?
has a house in Mallorca in Spain.
That's true.
That
He's
shit
also a
isn't.
millionaire.
Yeah, that shit isn't going to pay for itself. But
Yeah,
you
yeah, he
know,
is also a
मतलब
multi-millionaire.
हाँ एक बार बट इट्स नॉट लाइक एक बार मेंशन खरीद लिया तो खत्म हो गया उसका प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स देना पड़ता है हर साल सो आई फील लाइक ही इज डूइंग व्हाट इज बेस्ट
but
फॉर हिम
but do you not think he looks younger and
he
healthier?
does I feel like he's lost weight. I feel like he's lost a lot of
But in
weight
a fit way, like it's
in a
not in
fit
an
way.
unhealthy.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he
in a
looks
fit way.
younger and fitter and looks happier. His skin is glowing.
I mean, that's what a job in football outside of the media eye, outside of day to day match day criticisms will do to you.
Yeah,
He
I can't
has a
imagine.
nice cabin. He doesn't have to, like, he goes to watch all the games whenever he feels like, and for that, for him now, finally watching a football game is pleasure, not work.
No, man, I exactly, and like I can't even imagine what's gonna happen to Arne Slot. Like he's probably gonna go grow hair back,
He's
free
gonna
without turkey.
grow hair back and then lose it.
Yeah,
Oh, that'll be fucking hilarious. But yes, Trent did really well. Also, just on the topic of Trent, by the way, I know that I say a lot of things about Trent Alexander-Arnold on this podcast and to whoever I meet in like daily life, just because बाजी वाले को मैं बोल रहा हूँ Trent fuck all है. But I still have him in my FPL from day one, by the way. So I'm very happy that he got a clean sheet and an assist
this
because
is your technique, which is you're trying to tell everybody, hey, don't yuck, he sucks, don't use him, influence them, but you'll actually have it.
yeah,
That he becomes your differential.
yeah, absolutely. That is the plan. That is absolutely
If
the
you
plan.
can't
Right.
beat him, condition them and mark it.
It
Your
is
evil plan.
ultimate reverse psychology. Right, but from Liverpool, Brentford, let's go to the Emirates second place. Are they still second place? Let's see if they are still second place. Yes, they are still second place. Second place, Arsenal played against Aston Villa and they dropped points yet again. What is it, Arsenal fans? You're talking about being title challengers this season after taking Man City all the way till the last quarter of the season and then bottling it spectacularly in the last quarter of the season. What was it that Arsenal fans were saying? This season is going to be okay, cool. What's happening there?
And I wish we could just, okay, oh my god, Amok, you know what we should do? We should create a, like you and I should create, like instead of Mukesh, I'll create a Gukesh and you should create a Amol, who's an Arsenal fan, who's our Arsenal fan, what's it called?
Correspondent, Arsenal fan
Called,
person.
yeah, alter ego. And we should talk like an Arsenal fan because we'll be like, we're winning the league. Liverpool's not really competition. Actually, only City's competition. Well, screw you. Nottingham Forest is your bigger competition.
Yeah. Yeah, Nottingham Forest
But
is
I still
level
feel
on
like they'll
points.
win it. I still feel like they'll win the league.
Arsenal?
Uh,
What?
I'm winking, but
For
only
people,
okay.
wait,
If at
wait.
all,
For
if
I know we're on YouTube and all now, but for people who are still listening to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, thank you, firstly, for doing that. Secondly, for you guys specifically, Mukesh just gave a big wing.
that was like a bad swing. No, but okay. In seriousness, even if there is a chance, if there is a reasonable chance why I want to give them any hope of winning, I think it's just because of Liverpool's the last seven away fixtures are incredibly hard. They like out of the 21 points, I think if Liverpool take even 12, I'd be very surprised because they're all. I think there's like Villa, City, Chelsea. There's Bournemouth, and I think there's an Arsenal away fixture if I'm not wrong. But I'm not sure if that's away or home. But yeah, there is an Arsenal fixture coming up. So I do feel like the last 10 games are going to be very, very hard on Liverpool.
I mean, the next fixture is Ipswich at home for Liverpool, so I don't know what the
Correct.
fuck you're talking about.
That's the next one.
Yeah,
After
but
that.
but Arsenal took a 2-0 lead. Gabriel Martinelli opening the scoring, and then Kai Havertz, the man who has been having terrible luck in front of goal or in an Arsenal shirt on a
Really
football
the
pitch.
Nunez of pretty European boys.
Yeah,
That's who
yeah, pretty much. He is the European Nunez for sure, but with slightly less chaos, but similar output. I feel Kai Havertz getting the second goal, but then it just deflated for them. Two great crosses, one from Digne for Tielemans' first goal, and then from Matty Cash on his weaker left foot from the right for Ollie Watkins to slot it in. Brilliant crosses. But again, what is it about Arsenal that is making them stumble so badly? Like, fair enough, Aston Villa are a very good team. You know, they've had a great season last season. They're in the Champions League. Granted, this season has not gone according to plan. They're still eighth in the league, but they are a quality team under Unai Emery. But Arsenal, in the place they're at in the table, the kind of victories that they want to go for, they should be putting this game to bed, especially when you're 2-0 up at halftime.
Yeah, I thought it was incredibly poor game management by these players in the sense that it was a win for the taking. Like I'm trying to say, you just had to ride the game out. And Arsenal is a team that has defenders, right? But for it, like Arsenal's attack has come under fire a lot this season. They've obviously been wasteful. They've not turned up. But for a change, I think pretty much they were 2 goals up. All they had to do was use their famed defense and defensive techniques and black magic football to just ride the game out. That's all you had to do. And I feel like I understand that even if one goal went in, especially that second goal, but because on the weaker foot, I understand you suddenly don't expect such a good shot from a weaker foot. But that first goal was absolutely criminal, I thought. Like, there was no way Arsenal should have been letting that in. It was just incredibly poor game management.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of the few times that I feel like I don't know what else Arteta could have done. I just thought players are showing a lack of composure, and it might be um, down to the fact that maybe Arsenal don't have you need players between 28 to 32 who
Yeah.
are sort of the leaders on the pitch in such situations. Like Liverpool always had Milner for the longest time, right? And now at a smaller level you have Endo, just players who know how to ride the game out. I don't think Arsenal have those players. They have cool boys. Everyone's a cool boy. Everyone's
Yeah.
a stylo.
No, but I feel like more than that also, I feel there are two major issues that Arsenal is going through. One is they do not have a proven striker in that squad. Look, Arsenal have scored a lot of goals, right? Like they've scored 43 goals in the season so far. Chelsea have scored 44, Man City have scored 44, and then Liverpool have scored 50. So they're right up there. Like they're not really lacking the goals. Even if you look at Arsenal's goal scorers, yes, Saka will score, Martinelli will score, Jesus has had a purple patch of late. Sometimes Kai Havertz will come in with goals, Odegaard will come in with goals as well. Martinelli and Saliba from the back when they're doing corners, they get on the score sheet as well. So the squad is scoring and they're sharing the goals, but they don't have a proven striker. Right, like they have leading the line for them is Gabriel Jesus, who's not really worked out for them. Kai Havertz, who again is not really working out for them. Both these players, let's be very honest and let's remember, did not work out for their previous clubs. Jesus wasn't a starter for Man City. One could say that that was just bad timing because first he had to deal with Aguero, then he had to deal with Haaland. I think there was a little bit of overlap there, but wasn't able to cement a place in that lineup. Kai Havertz similarly wasn't able to cement a place in that Chelsea lineup. And they've got these two who are their striking options. Apart from that, you have Gabriel Martinelli, who's more of a winger than a striker. But they don't have somebody like forget it. Like, this is going to sound very controversial, but Rasmus Højlund is a striker. He's not getting the goals for Man United, that's a different thing, but he is that striker profile. And I don't think they have somebody like that, somebody who is, a proper scorer. They had options to get Ivan Toney. He could have been that profile of player. Of course, they didn't go for him because Ivan Toney also has other issues off the pitch, which would have factored into that decision. And fair enough. Fair enough if that's the, but that is the type of player, that is a profile of player that they do not have and that they desperately need. The second thing is they are very heavily reliant on Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. Because when those two are fit and playing together, as they were at the start of the season, Arsenal looked unbeatable. They were smacking teams 4-0, 3-0, 5-0. They were going on a rampage. The minute Odegaard gets injured and is out of the squad for a lengthy period, Arsenal starts to falter. Immediately, you could tell the minute Odegaard was injured, Arsenal's form began to dip. Then the minute Odegaard came back, Arsenal were back on track. They were finally like, oh fuck, we've got everybody that we need. We are like, it's almost like second nature to them to go out and win football matches. But then immediately after that, Saka gets injured. And again, we're seeing the dip in form. So it is their reliance on these two players, and they're key players, they're very good players, but their over reliance on them is going to be their downfall. You don't see that with other teams, and I know how ironic this sounds because we are literally seeing that with Man City and their reliance on Rodri. But in the past as well, with Guardiola's teams who have won championships, they have never relied on single players that much.
Yeah. Also, I think the problem with that reliance is the fact that Odegaard and Saka are good together, but without one, the other doesn't seem to be getting to that level. So that means now that Saka is gone, I feel like Odegaard himself is not that good, and I feel like I saw that. I think in terms of non-penalty goals, he either has 2 non-penalty goals all season or 0, if I'm not wrong. Right, which I think is a terrible statistic, and it obviously means that he's just clearly looking for an outlet, which used to be Saka. Now that's not there. He doesn't know who to give it to, but neither does he know how to finish those himself. Right? I mean, obviously, I think I always thought Kai Havertz was a terrible signing for Arsenal, especially at 16 million. Chelsea made the cleanest money I think they'll ever make out of a bad player. Getting Raheem Sterling on loan was a really bad idea. I don't understand this rivalry where you borrow players so easily. Right? I feel like Gabriel Jesus, he is exactly what he was at Arsenal, which is someone who comes on at minute 60, minute 70. In fact, I think in City he wasn't even that.
Yeah.
But even at Arsenal, that's what he could have been at best. Plays the cups and plays the domestic cups and comes on at 60 and 70 for the league. So they needed to buy someone better, and that someone definitely was not supposed to be Havertz. Like, there is no chance, and we've discussed this so many times. Like, it seems like a vanity buy. And then when Arteta says, Liverpool can bring on a 90 million striker as a sub. First of all, that's a donkey.
Yeah.
Second of all, you spent about 1,000 million on about 1,500 defenders. Right? He can't be. There is no one but himself to blame for this situation. There is absolutely no one.
Like, all I'd like to say is, if you go to Crawford Market and a dude is offering you genuine Apple AirPods for 1,000 rupees, just think about it for a second. Just think about what you're getting. So if Chelsea is giving you Kai Havertz for what they are terming a bargain, or if they're readily willing to loan you Raheem Sterling, just think about why. Just a thought. Quick thought. That's all. That's all we're saying. That is all. But yes, I don't know. I don't think Arsenal is going to. cause any issues to Liverpool. I feel like the only team that can realistically, again, in this business end of the season as we get into, can realistically give trouble to Liverpool is Man City. Because,
City are
man,
going
they're
to, okay.
coming back.
Yeah, they come back. Here's the thing. City are going to finish on 88 points, which is mathematically the highest they can finish on. It's very clear. They're like, hey, if you want to win us, at least hit 90, if not 100. Till now for Liverpool, the task was to hit 100 points, right? They're like, oh, forget that, hit 90. We've lost
Yeah,
3 extra games for you, hit
yeah, yeah.
90 on Heto. And so let's see. But I don't think Liverpool and Arsenal, both clown teams, I don't think they have the power to. But no. But I would still give it to City. I see what you're saying because I know they're going to hit the maximum point. But I would just give it to Arsenal because their fixture list is a little easier. Like I do think there is some merit to what Arsenal fans keep saying, which is that they've had a tougher set of fixtures up till now, and Liverpool's away fixtures are hard.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see how the next 7 game weeks go past. You know,
I have a
if
more
Arsenal.
interesting question for you. How many points do you think the winner will get this season? It's definitely not going to be 95 above, correct? That we know
Yeah,
by now.
yeah.
City can't do it, Arsenal can't do it, Liverpool won't even do it.
Early 90s, I feel.
Yeah, like a 91, 92.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where it looks like it is headed. But City did smack Ipswich 6-0 away from home. What's really heartening for City fans and disheartening for Liverpool fans is Erling Haaland is back to scoring form. So FPL managers, I think it's time to bring him back. But also Phil Foden. 2 goals in his last game, 2 goals in this game as well. Phil Foden is finding his scoring boots, and that has been one player that City have really, really missed. He was the Premier League's best player of the season last season, and this season has been absolutely abysmal from him. He's been nowhere. So him finding his scoring boots again, especially when Kevin De Bruyne is not really at his peak of his powers, is a big boost for Guardiola at Man City.
And I mean, De Bruyne's assists, I think they look like they were peak De Bruyne assists. Maybe he's not as industrious as he used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
That's what I
think the
mean. Like it's
quality
not
of the
like
assists,
he's yeah, yeah, yeah. The quality is still there, and the quality will never go away. But like the fact is that he is getting older, and he is also getting, I feel like, jaded with Man City, and that's understandable. He's been here for a while. He's won everything with Man City. He might be thinking of a new challenge,
he's
and all these factors play into your mind when you're out on the pitch. They are human beings after all.
yeah, and I think he's won everything domestically in every combination. Premier League once FA Cup, Premier League once Carling Cup, Carling Cup,
Yeah,
FA Cup, everything is done, and the treble, of course.
yeah. So I feel like he's going to be phased out, like how David Silva was phased out, like how Aguero was phased out. I feel like Kevin De Bruyne is also, we're seeing the phasing out period of Kevin De Bruyne from Man City, but that would have worked out for them, or that would have been less of a crisis for them at the start of the season if Foden was ready and able to go for it immediately, especially off the back of last season. But that did not happen. Foden didn't have a great first half of the season, but now that he's really pushing on, I think that is very, very good news for Man City. And also that ties in really neatly to what we have been saying on this podcast, which is that, like you said just now, they have set a target. Get 90, because we are going to get 88. We have lost 3 additional
Yeah,
games. We are going to get 88 points. That is what we have decided. So it's almost like Guardiola said, okay, now let's stop fucking about, boys.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
from now on, we win. That's it.
yeah. And the only team capable of such a mad run, as we always said, is just City, and there's no one else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel
Uh,
like, do you think we're getting too panicky for some? It's just Ipswich.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not just this fixture against Ipswich. No, it is also the previous fixture that they had. I think Foden scored 2 goals. So before Ipswich, who did they play? Let me just quickly check that. Who? Brentford. It was a 2-2 draw at Brentford, and it was Foden who got both the goals. So even though they dropped points, it was still Foden getting
yeah,
back to scoring form, which is very, very good for Man City. So yeah, so there we go. Chelsea played Wolves at Stamford Bridge late last night, and with a score at 1-1 at halftime, Chelsea fans got to Twitter to say, please sell Robert Sanchez at halftime only. Like, just
Yeah, I don't know why Chelsea fans are complaining. Given the situation they were in, and given the lack of absolute mismanagement and misman management and man mismanagement, management misman, they should be very happy with fourth. Maybe they can come third if Nottingham Forest dips. That's so much more respectable than anything that they've seen post the Hazard years. Just whiners, yeah.
Yeah, no, I for all intents and purposes, you're right. Like they're having a spectacular season for the circumstances that they're in, especially with change of manager, heavy influx of players, and all of that. But and then to be fair, they did manage to get a victory out of this. Eventually, running out 3-1 winners. Goals from Mark Cucurella, Noni Madueke, and the first one being, I think it was who was it? The first one. Who scored the first goal for Chelsea? Do you know?
Adarabiyo.
Tosin, Tosin Adarabiao. Yo, there, whatever. But no, it was Mark Cucurella also getting quite a few goals in the last few games.
Yeah, I mean, good for Chelsea. Good for Maresca, actually, I think, at the end of the day. I want to see him succeed. And I think it's nice that I think if you look at the top 6, 7, except for Guardiola and Arteta, everyone's either a new manager or a manager on a shoestring budget or a combination of both, right? The the only reason I'm comfortable adding Liverpool in this list is because one, Arne Slot signed no players yet, and for the last 3 seasons, Liverpool has spent nothing. So I'm thinking the first pretty much 10, like until you hit Brentford, until you hit United, actually, every manager is on a shoestring budget, relatively or new. So, good for Chelsea to be on the positive side of things for once, and I think they should take this good top
Yeah,
four shout.
yeah. The one team that's not going to make it to the top four is my team.
Let's go. I was waiting. I was like, how long will you delay the inevitable?
Till the very end. I will delay it as much as it is humanly possible. Another defeat at Old Trafford, 3-1 this time to Brighton. A fucking 33-year-old manager has defeated Manchester United. I don't know, man. You tell me. You only tell me. I don't know what else to say. Like Amorim said, it's the worst Manchester United team in history.
I think. Remember when was it Ralph Rangnick who said United needs not a whatever. Oh,
He
Hindi, they
needs an
don't need a
open heart
candidate.
surgery.
He's an open heart surgery. But then I'm like, hey, everyone's gone and it's still shit. Right, except for Rashford and maybe Garnacho, I don't know. Fernandez, of course. But yeah, except for these three, I don't think anyone is retained. So even the open heart surgery has not worked. Sorry, I shouldn't be mocking. Yeah, structural problems, blah 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 blah.
The you know what is infuriating, right? Is that nobody seems to be able to handle this club. Not one person. And for the longest time, like you have the Ferguson era and the post Ferguson era, right? Like in the Ferguson era, even though the Glazers took over, the sheer personality of Ferguson was enough to still keep us at the very top. After that, everybody, like all the United fans, will be saying, "Oh, it's a ownership issue. The Glazers are fuck all. The Glazers are this. The Glazers are that, etc., etc." And fair enough, they were. Even Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, who have come in with a minority stake, who have bought into the club to specifically take over the football operations, are acting like they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I think so. This is the reason why Liverpool rejected Amorim, right? Which is his stubbornness, right? Now it's about whether. Now the good thing is that no matter how bad Amorim's teams are playing, the blame is completely going on Eric Ten Hag, right? So if you're of the belief that this is the right manager, then you just have to suffer through this, right? That's one. And I do feel like a lot more. I don't know, man. These are professional players, right? And no one. These are professional players who have access to a lot more facilities than their competitors. I'm talking about than like the people around them currently. So I don't know if Amarim's methods are that insanely hard to grasp a coach, or if he's not doing a good job. But I do feel like it's time something comes on Amarim in the sense that okay, either because like I said, these are players who fucking Harry Maguire has turned it around. So pretty much anything can happen at United.
Yeah. No, the thing is,
Your methods can't be so outrageous that it's taking these players. It's it's doing all this to players. And I'm not a big fan of, like, even when, okay, so Klopp inherited pretty much an equally worse team, if not a worse team, fucking Mamadou Sakho and Simon Mignolet and Karius. The terrible team. But I think at that point also he never said, okay, let's, this is the worst team ever. I think he talked about the belief in the players that these are good players. Now, I don't know if it's an arrogant profile of players, which luckily Liverpool never had. There's just a sheer arrogance about them. They're a little spoiled brats. Then again, I think one more open heart is needed, because from Onana till up front till Garnacho, everyone needs to go, except for like a player, because it's clearly an attitude issue. Like, there's some attitude issue, whether it's the manager or the players. I don't think the owners can be blamed, man. You can't blame owners who spent 700 million on your club.
I think you can start to, and I'll tell you why. Because
Oh my god, how can you?
no, because here's the thing, right? Like when Ineos came in, everybody was like, "Fuck, this is great, fresh air, fresh ideas for the club and all." But what people don't understand is that Ineos has not really been super successful with their other footballing projects. Like Nice is not doing really well in League One. So one could still say that, okay, that was their experiment, and they've made their mistakes there, they've learned from their mistakes there, and they won't make the same mistakes here, etc., etc. Sure, granted. But there are a few decisions that Ineos has made that make me question their competence in running a football club, especially a football club the size of Manchester United. One is, you spent so long, 5 months almost, trying to get Dan Ashworth as your sporting director from Newcastle United. You got into a legal battle with Newcastle United to sign Dan Ashworth. 5 months into his job, you fired him. What does that say? Right? Now, I'm not saying that the
Amok,
blame is.
okay, this okay. That's a long term argument. The idea
No,
is
but
that,
hear me
see,
out, hear
no,
me out, hear me out.
no. No, because I'm really where I disagree with you. That is at a much more upper management level. Okay, if I am Amorim, right, and I walk in with to a team where there are 12 players or 30, say 15 key players, and I use them in any way I want to, and they're all professional players. Some of them have played in Champions League games already. Onana's played for, I think, Inter. He came from Inter, right? Right. Delict has played in the biggest Champions League stages. Right now, of course, they might have all been overrated. They might have flaws. Of course, that's all true. And you have academy. Is Xerxes an academy prospect, or is he just still a young prospect?
No,
If
he's
he's
a
not
young player. He's
academy,
not
right?
academy. He used to play
Yeah,
for
sure.
Atlanta only.
And you still have access to a Manchester United academy, which, for whatever it's worth, will attract some good talent. You have access to all of that, and there is no justification for you to still be in that. As a manager who has done any work in the past, there is no way you should be allowed to keep that team there. Every team experiences either a new manager bump or a post manager bump. Like, that's be something, right? The only games in which they've turned up are in derbies, right? Against
Yeah,
Arsenal, City,
it's the
and
big
Liverpool.
the big rivals. Yeah.
That they've turned up is in that. And that also could be with just the nature of a derby, with the fans being a lot more passionate and excited, and of course the other team fumbling a bit because of the derby. Right? It's a combination of these things. But I think in terms of where Amorim's coaching really comes out is in the other games. And I don't know, have you seen any player markedly improve? I'm
No,
not
I
sure.
mean,
Again,
no. The thing is, some players are doing well over others. Like you said, Harry Maguire has become a savior. He's become one of the first people that you turn to be rock solid under Amorim. So that's great. Bruno has been fantastic across all the managers he's played for. So that's like a complete outlier. Amad Diallo has been fantastic under Amorim. But that's about it. Like literally, that's about it. Mazraoui, new signing, has been providing consistent performances. So that's great. Diego Dallo, again, largely okay, but has mistakes in him. But again, like that's just about it. Nobody else has really stepped up and been like, man, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to play, and we've got it. Like as a United fan, when I'm watching United games, I don't know, regardless of what team is put out, I don't know if we are going to be able to control the game. And this is against a team like Ipswich also, I'll feel that. Against Liverpool also, I'll feel that. There's no cohesion of, man, this is like, I remember watching United under Ferguson, and I'd be like, we're playing Norwich, easy. We're playing Tottenham, easy. There were times when we were playing Arsenal and we were like, yeah, we're playing Arsenal now, easy. And we'd beat them. But that's not the case anymore because nobody is really understanding what the fuck is going on. My problem with the ownership also is this. I'm not saying that Amorim is a bad manager. I'm not saying that he's going to be bad for United. But you extended Eric Ten Hag's contract at the start of the season. You gave him, 12, 13 games or whatever. And then you bring in a guy who has a completely different system, needs completely a different profile of players than you have in the squad, to jump in December in the middle of a ridiculous fixture congestion. You're setting him up to fail. As an ownership structure, you're setting up this manager to fail. And there has been reports where Amorim said to United that he didn't want to come this season. Amorim said to United that he wanted to finish this season with Sporting, win the Portuguese league again, because they were well on their way. They were unbeaten before he left. He wanted to finish that season, win it, and then leave and come in next season. But Manchester United told him, no, it's now or never. So Amorim, being a young coach from Sporting, who is probably given his biggest opportunity in his career, was in no position to say no. But you have inherently set up the guy to fail, and that, I feel, makes me question the owners, the new owners. Again, like, what were you expecting? So you're right. If one thing is, if we have to suffer through this, sure. But it is going to get remarkably worse.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that is the perfect time to end this episode then on your jubilant yay. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to The Corner Flag. If you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us what you thought of this episode, you can either comment on this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, we respond to every comment, good or bad. So please do let us know your thoughts. Or you can reach out to us on our social media. You can find Mukesh on Instagram at
Manjunath.
You can find me on Instagram at Amogrindive. The Corner Flag is also on Instagram at @CornerFlagPod. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, where we are available, hit the subscribe or follow buttons there as well and give us a 5-star review. Shout out to Kezad Gurda for composing our theme tune. And until next week, it is goodbye from us. So say bye, Mukesh.
Bye, guys.
And it's bye from me.